To all of our local, our regional and our international viewers, thank you kindly for choosing us here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. My dear friends, a very warm welcome to another edition of the program Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower and answer those unanswered questions. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani, humbly inviting you to sit back, relax, enjoy, get your pen, get your notebook, Real TV, so you can take notes and important numbers that will be helpful for you and your loved ones. Directing this morning and in master control, Mr. Phillips. He's in control this morning. And on behalf of the team, we take the opportunity to wish each and every one of you a beautiful, blessed, productive and great day today. I trust all is well. You are safe, you're happy, you're in good health and you're having yourself a lovely day. Happy Tuesday, I'll tell you, it's absolutely gorgeous on the outside. Blue skies, white clouds, a burst of sunshine, absolutely beautiful. Happy Tuesday, my friends. Tuesday, 19th August 2025. And it is a day and time we'll never have the opportunity to ever have again in life. So don't procrastinate. Don't waste your time. If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours. Tomorrow is not promised, right? So don't take time for granted. Don't take your loved ones for granted. If you haven't said, I love you in a long time, the time is right about now, yeah? And today is also a very special day in the world because it's known as a day where we recognize people that made sacrifices. It's known as the Humanitarian Day. And so on behalf of all of us here at Real TV, we extend, our thoughts, our kindness, and we wish all a beautiful, blessed, great day today where we recognize the importance of the great contribution that those made. I do believe we have a flyer, great. And today on this World Humanitarian Day, we recognize the courage and dedication of humanitarians across the globe. It's a day to honor those who put others first and remind us all of the power of compassion and unity in times of crisis. So we recognize those great contributions, people who step out of their comfort zone and go beyond the call of duty to serve and make that commitment to help as well. So we recognize this day. And of course, let's now go to our quote for today, coming to us with the kind compliments of India in Style Expo. And our quote says, "You don't change the world with the ideas in your mind, but with the conviction in your heart." Thank you so much for that, Mr. Philip. I'm going to repeat it again. Can you put it up again? You don't change the world with the ideas in your mind. So you have an idea. You don't change anything but having that idea in your mind. But with the conviction in your heart is allowing that idea to take birth, and you do that with a conviction, with a passion, and that's how you make changes. Thank you for that, Mr. Philip. Let's now go to India in Style Expo. Now they are located opposite the Center of Excellence, so check them out.
Step into the colors and flavors of India at the India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence, Mokoya. Experience the magic of one of the largest Ganesha Murtis in the Caribbean with daily arati at 1 and 7 p.m. Dive into our Indian food festival featuring a delicious variety from crispy dosa to mouth-watering tandoori specialties. Plus explore vibrant Indian clothing, elegant outfits for the entire family, perfect for every occasion. Open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for a joyful celebration of culture, cuisine and tradition. India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. See you there.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa. To all those of here in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, regionally and internationally, those of you that are looking at us on Tego, the app, or perhaps you are in Canada on the Caribbean, Showtime Television, thank you so much for choosing us, allowing us to add value, to influence you in a positive way. And I always say to you, knowledge is power. Today I'm in conversation with a gentleman whom has a wealth of knowledge and experience as well. I'm speaking of no other than Pandit Dr. Balmesh Surunarayan. He is a spiritual coach, and today he's going to be talking to us about the power of our mind, how we can change things, the mind, and how it can shape our lives for good or for bad. The fact is, yes, we know that with God all things are possible, but if we also know and understand the greatness of the power of our minds, then life will be so much simpler. Unfortunately, Pandit will be joining us later on. He's not here at this time, but because of technology, he's going to be joining us. So let's say good morning, Sitaram, Namaste, and Sairam to Panditji. Welcome.
Sairam, Namaste, Zelisa.
How are you?
I am awesome.
You see?
How are you doing?
You see, I love that answer, because despite sometimes we set out to do things that we don't anticipate, we always try our very best and not allow us that to take the better of us or to steal the joy of the moment, but rather find a solution. And we found a solution this morning, right?
Correct, definitely, we did.
Good. So, Mr. Director, I just need you to take the volume down a little, please. Thank you. Good. So, Panditji, you're there, and today we are going to, I'm a firm believer of the power of the mind, right?
Yes.
And we can either make things happen in a positive way or in a negative way. And so,
Of course.
you being the, understanding the magnitude of what we're talking about, will share, your advice and perhaps teach us the art, because not everybody knows the art of taking control of a situation.
Of course, definitely, Zelisa. And I definitely am very particular about this, the power of the mind. I like to call it the science of the mind. I actually, normally when I teach this session or I'm teaching it to somebody, I always call it programming the mind,
Right.
Because the mind needs to be programmed. Now, we are not just talking about specifically your conscious mind here. Today we're going to split the mind into two main parts, right?
Okay.
We have the conscious mind, which is the thinking mind, and we have the subconscious mind, which is where your program is. So we are talking in the context here in our software. So you know that the brain is the hardware, but the mind is the software, right? So just like a computer has the hardware, but it also requires a software in order to operate, right? The operating system.
Yeah.
Without the software, it cannot run. Now, the software is not something that is visible, right? It's not something that you can see. It's not something tangible. The hardware is what is tangible. Similarly, your brain is tangible. You can feel, you can touch that. Well, we don't really want to, right? But I mean, if it is, we have to dissect that. You can actually touch that, right? But the mind, you cannot touch the mind. You cannot see the mind. The mind is intangible. It's not something that that is really there, Like I've had a conversation with a friend close to me, and at one point I was sharing, the fact that the mind is not inside the head. And when I said that, he was actually mind blown, because he was like, he's a younger, very successful gentleman, and he was actually saying, well, he always thought that the mind was inside of the head. And I was like, well, in reality, the mind is actually a medium through which you tap into the all-pervading consciousness that is all around, that is everywhere.
All right. So I need to understand this, because I feel very confused at this time. And we are taught, ask and you shall receive, right? So
correct.
Are you now speaking about, so you could probably, enlighten us with regards to when you say, well, the first thing when you think of the mind, we think of our brains, we think of our thoughts, we think of the mind,
correct.
Right? And now, and so now you are saying to us that the mind is clearly not that. So then are you saying our mind is about tapping, I'm trying to understand and find the right words. Are you now saying the mind and the soul is the same?
So not necessarily the soul. The soul is a separate entity.
Right.
But the mind is the all-pervading consciousness that is everywhere. So I've studied this with a monk actually, a concept that is called unwavering focus. And when we are taught that we are pure awareness moving in the mind.
Right.
That's how we are taught to acknowledge it, right? We are pure awareness moving in the mind.
Okay.
So the soul itself has the ability to be aware, and through that awareness now we can move through different areas of the mind. So the mind itself is the pure consciousness that exists in this entire creation, that is all pervading, that is everywhere. You use the brain to tap into it, but the brain is not the mind.
Understood.
So sometimes when we use them, simultaneously or side by side, we think that, hey, well, the brain is probably the mind, or the mind is probably in the head, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
But it's not at all, definitely not.
Okay.
So with that being said, you actually have this mind that is a powerful, powerful tool that can be used to shape your life in the direction that you want. So the mind must be seen as a tool. Just like I said, the mind is like the software, right? Just like you have the software in the computer. Now, if I want to run programs on the computer, I can't just run the programs just so, unless I have an operating system.
Correct.
Now, at the same time, if you look, we have, Windows, we have Apple, all of these different things, right? So Mac OS. Now, a Mac OS operates in a particular way. It's designed to operate in a particular way. Whereas Windows is also designed to work in a certain way. And they are all tools that we are using to get a certain result, right?
Right.
So each individual now has their program in their mind that is built throughout all of the years that they would have lived upon the face of the earth. All of the experiences they would have had, everything that would have come through their senses over all the years that they have lived, that is what programs the mind.
Now, I'm trying to understand this, right? So when you talk about throughout the years, and so now are we talking about even when we reincarnate? I just want to get clarity there.
Right. So yes, correct, because you are bringing forth what you would have experienced and acquired in the past life. So we have, fun fact, we do not just have one body, but we actually have 3 bodies, right? So when you die, you exit out of the physical gross body that is made up of the elements. Right. But we have 2 other bodies. We have the subtle body that is made up of what was acquired through the senses. And we have the causal body, which is tied into your karma that you create in this world. So with that being said, when you pass on, you carry on the subtle body and you carry on the causal body.
Okay. Now, I think this would explain, because I'm fascinated, I'm always reading, or I'm always looking at documentaries to understand death. I'm always seeking that. For some reason, I like to look at the documentaries or read articles and things like that. Now, and one of the things that we understand and establish is that some people will simply go somewhere or see someone or connect in a way that we can't understand. And they would probably go to a place or tell you about something that they've experienced in the past, and people will say, but this is crazy. If you're 5 years old, how can you relate to something donkey years ago? And that is part of the explanation that we would have had past lives. Yes, because we connect with people, or we connect with certain places or things like that. So to me, that's part of the explanation of understanding then and establish that we would have had past lives, or we lived. Yeah. So I think with you bringing this now to the surface or the forefront would answer a lot of the questions some of us may have about life and death and reincarnation and things like that. Yeah.
Definitely, correct.
Great. Panditji, I'm going to ask you to please just hold for a while. We need to take a short break. And when we return, we continue this fascinating conversation today as we understand the mind and how it can shape our lives, the power of our minds. And I keep doing this for the power of the mind, right? So let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Barron. Join me right here on Real TV every Friday during our 6 o'clock major news. I'll be bringing you updates and market insights to wrap up your week. Don't miss it right here on Real TV.
Welcome to Real TV, where real stories come to life. We bring you the latest news, breaking headlines, and the stories that matter most. Need lifestyle tips? We've got those too, from wellness to daily hacks that make life better. Stay informed, stay inspired, and most of all, let your voice be heard. Real TV connects you to the world's knowledge anytime, anywhere. So check out our YouTube channel today, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We invite you to join us on YouTube at RealTV-TNT. You can also view our channel on your local cable networks.
We are the leaders of Marriage of Marriages Ministry. I am Apostle Joel Barrett.
I am Shaman Barrett.
We are inviting you to join us for the program Back to Eden every Tuesday at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. with repeats. Let's return to the foundation of perfect love through dynamic topics of healthy marriages, relationships, love, and truth. Come, walk with us in perfect love.
Join us on Real TV.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Voila, Pandit is here. Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower, and answer those unanswered questions. Yes, pull up your seat, get your notebook, call your friends, because you are about to be enlightened in conversation with Pandit Dr. Balmesh Sunarayan. He's a spiritual coach. It is his strength. I find myself being totally fascinated. I read more and more about him. I read all his posts. I follow him. So I'm one of his fans. And we are really very pleased for him to enlighten us, to share his wealth of knowledge and experiences with us. And today he's talking to us about the mind and how it can shape our lives. The power of your mind. Welcome. Nice to finally have you seated here with us.
It's a pleasure to be here again. Namaste, everyone.
You did all your magic.
Definitely. I literally said, I was singing in the vehicle coming, I was like, Hanuman, clear the road. Literally, I said that. I was like,
And you're here.
yeah, we have to manifest it again, coming back to the mind, because
Yes.
I'm going to show how we use this to shape our lives.
Yes.
So, I mean, everything happens for a reason. So
Right.
everything that played out this morning as well, I don't fight it because of the fact that I know it's playing out for a reason. Even if we can't decode it in the moment,
Yes.
it is happening for a reason. Nothing in this
Nice.
universe happens by chance.
And I want you all to take that away today, that lesson today, because sometimes, when we find ourselves in the middle of challenges or storms or things we didn't anticipate, we really get anxious and we get flustered and we lose. And I think age would bring reason. And for me as well, I've learned the art of relax, take it easy.
Correct.
This too shall pass.
So yeah, we were talking about, programming the mind, and the mind is a tool, like I said, the software that is running, like the operating system. So the mind is a tool, and you can actually shape and program this mind in the way that you want, because everybody has access to it. But you have your own software. Everybody has their own software available to them.
So nobody's unique, even though you are a doctor and you specialize in this, and we know you have the edge, right? The cut. The fact is, what you are teaching us today, what you're talking to us about today, is that we too can learn the art.
Correct. It's not special to anybody in particular. We all have the ability, and once you really want to learn, like people come to me all the time and they're like, well, I want help for this person, or I want help for this person. I'm like, I can help anyone as long as they want the help themselves. They have to be willing.
You have to want it.
You spoke about the heart and the conviction today.
Yeah.
You have to be that person that wants this. And as long as you want it, As long as you want transformation, trust me, it's going to come, right? So you have to put it out into the universe. So when it comes to programming the mind, like I was saying, you have your conscious mind, which is the mind that we think with every day, the mind that we are thinking with right now. But I want to show you how they work so that we understand this, right? Then we have the subconscious mind. So right now, I'm driving, I'm looking at certain things, I'm conscious because my mind is literally receiving the instructions from what I'm interacting with through my senses.
May I ask, you know sometimes you're there but you're not there?
Yeah.
You know sometimes you're in there at the moment but your mind, we say the mind is focused on something else or somewhere else.
Right.
And somebody talking and you, yeah, and but
Yeah.
your mind is somewhere else. Your thoughts are somewhere else.
So this is something I had to learn as well. So it's not that your mind, you know, we say your mind are running on things, your mind doesn't run. It's your awareness that is moving.
Your awareness.
It's your awareness. So your awareness moves from one thing to another. And you can actually train your awareness to be where you want it to be. So this comes with a lot of practice too, which I could do the rest of my ability to share with you all a little bit today at some point in the conversation. So the subconscious mind, right, compared to the conscious mind, which is the thinking mind, which is what we are using right now,
Right.
the subconscious mind is where you have this program that is already built, or these thoughts that are already there that work on automation. So you are not thinking about those thoughts anymore, but they are happening nevertheless. So for example, when you blink, it's a thought. But do you think when you blink, Zelisa? You don't think about it. It just happens.
Blinking, right?
No, that's conscious, right? But generally, when we are blinking, we are not thinking about it. When we are breathing,
It
that
happens.
happens.
It's just natural.
So we
Right.
think that it's natural, but in reality, it's a
Yeah.
program. In reality, we have become programmed that this is how it is.
And you're saying, and that is so true. And when you breathe, you really don't think. But the moment you have to gasp for breath,
Then you become aware. So it's so important. That's why it's important to be intentional, because if we are intentional about our breathing, we can shape our life. That's a conversation by itself. Because a lot of adults, fun fact, if I tell you, do you know that many adults don't breathe properly? Because we were never taught how to breathe.
we're never taught. You're
Right?
correct.
So,
You're absolutely correct. We're never taught how to breathe unless we do some breathing exercises.
correct.
You're correct.
Or techniques. If you look at a child,
Yes,
when a child is breathing, how do you see a child breathing? You look at them, you'll see their stomach rising and
Yes,
going down,
yes,
right?
yes.
But when you look at an adult, when they breathe, the shoulders going up. So the real proper way to breathe, in order for there to be a proper flow of the prana inside of you, the vital air, life breath, you are supposed to breathe in a cyclical motion, which is called breathing diaphragmatically or belly breathing.
Okay.
That is what a child is doing. So that's why the belly is what's supposed to move every time you breathe. Your belly is supposed to expand when you breathe in. It is supposed to contract when you breathe out. And that's how you get a proper cyclical flow of the breath. So that's a simple example. So why? Because we have been programmed a certain way, and you see everybody doing it, and your senses are interacting with, oh, this is how it is. This is how it's supposed to be. Automatically, your mind is being programmed. Now, let me show you how this becomes dangerous, right? It becomes dangerous for us in the sense that, excuse me, it becomes dangerous for us in the sense that our mind is being programmed every day by the people, the situations, and the environment around us.
Repeat that.
Our mind is being programmed every single day by the people, the situations, the experiences, and the environment that you are placed in every single day. So if you are not intentional about this, it is like literally giving a remote control to the environment, giving a remote control to the people around you, and telling them, you click the button and whatever channel you put it on, that is what I'm going to enact.
So when we say the environment will have an impact on our children, when
It
we
does.
say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are, it matters. So the people that you find yourself associating with could influence you in a positive way
Of course.
or a negative way. The environment you place yourself in, so if you want to go by a bar and drink every day and smoke and go Cora and lime, that is what non-productive. I'm just saying. I'm trying to use scenarios so people could relate. You find yourself wherever in a church or in a temple, or in a place where there are people that are praying that will elevate, that will help you, or you do a course to help yourself to grow and evolve.
Correct.
That is how you grow, and it's important. I'm so happy that you're talking about that, because there are people that simply Is it that they're ignorant or they just don't care or they're not bothered? But now you
Mm-hmm.
know.
It's definitely ignorance. Now, ignorance, we misuse that term in Trinidad normally. People say,
Yeah.
look at that guy,
Yeah,
he's
you're
ignorant,
real
but he's
ignorant boy.
he's really arrogant, right?
Yeah.
So ignorance is really the lack of knowledge and awareness.
It is.
So when you don't have this awareness, which is what I'm sharing right now, it means you are really ignorant at a certain level. And I deal with it every day. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I love people, but I always say the best thing in this world can be people, but the worst thing can also be people.
Yeah.
Not people in particular, but their behaviors, the way that they think, you know? So when it comes to the environment, when it comes to the people around you, most of the people in the world, the average person, they are programmed based on these things. But then there comes a few people, like myself, for example, who are very intentional about the people we keep around us, who are very intentional about the environments that we place ourselves in, and who are very intentional about the situations, circumstances, experiences that we are having, and how we not just act, but how we react to the things that are showing up around us. Now, at the human level, even I'm affected. Something happens, sometimes I would get angry, right? And
You're human, yes.
I've heard Sadhguru talk about this as well. Of course, you're going to be affected in some way, right? Some form of fashion.
Yeah.
But it's all on me now to bring my awareness back. So I always have this conversation with my friends, the closest people around me, right? And we always talk about whenever a situation happens, if it is I feel angry about it, I feel angry about it in the moment, but I deal with it then and there, and then I move on.
So do you say, I'm not going to allow this to get the better of me?
I'm not holding on to it. Even if it affects me a little bit now,
Yeah.
I am aware that it's affecting me now, but I'm like, this does not serve me, and this is not going to be good for my program. But I want to tell you why I deal with it in the moment and not after, because of the fact that anything you do through repetition, I don't hold on to it, right? Anything that is done through repetition, that is what programs your mind.
That's where it becomes a habit.
That's why you have something called post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's a repeated pattern of images and this experience playing over and over and over for an individual, because they cannot control their emotions, they cannot control a lot of things that are happening, right? They're not intentional or aware of how to deal with the mind and stuff like that. So when a situation happens, like I told you, I had some real traumatic incidents that happened.
Yes, yes.
Now you will realize why it is it did not affect me in the way it will normally affect other
Others,
people, right?
go into depression, people go. But
Correct.
then you have the art, you've learned the art.
I've studied, I've practiced for a long time.
Not
to
only
get there.
that, you've mentioned that daily, because that's what you specialize in, helping people to get back on the right path or perhaps make a better choice,
Correct.
better decision, so they'll have a better tomorrow. That's what you do in terms of your spiritual reading. So you're correct. You are often having to deal with people who are broken, who are in pieces,
Every day.
who need help every day.
Yes.
And you now will have to know how to get them to be whole again, or guide them, to help them, not make them, but rather help them
Correct.
to make better choices. And it comes down to choice.
Correct. And then I also have to keep myself in a certain mental space, because I can only help them
Exactly.
if it is that I'm not in that space or that space of balance. I cannot be able to help them.
Exactly.
You know? So it's so important. That's why I now will have certain routines myself that I would practice every single day that will keep my mind in a certain order. So my awareness will be focused on certain things.
So you're calm.
So
you're cool.
I teach it, and I mean, I've been practicing for quite a while, and obviously this is a lifelong journey. So this is not something that you learn overnight. It takes time, but at the same time, you can do it. So it's not like, you know, people tell me sometimes, they're like, when I tell them things, they'll be like, you know, it's easier said than done. And what I would say to that is, before you say it's easier said than done, do it. Do it.
Yes.
Do it first, and then you can think about anything else after. But sometimes, a lot of the times, we place limitations on ourselves before we even take the first step.
We say no before we say yes.
Yes.
We look at it and see the big problem, but we don't realize it if we, if we just say, I'm going to try and I'll be my best at it. I'll give it my all. It's the art of getting it done.
And that comes back to programming. The reason why people react like that is because of programming. Because you've been programmed in a certain way over your years of life that things are not going to work out. You can never go to this level. Do not hang your hat where you can't reach. A lot of parents tell their children that. Maybe not now, but yes, there are still some. In the olden days, the olden golden days, you would have heard parents saying, don't hang your hat where you can't reach. I've been told that. I've heard that before. You know what I mean? do only this much. You can only be this. You are born from this environment, you can only be this. But when I started to study psychology, Zelisa, one of the things I learned, my psychology professor actually taught us, I wanted to understand how the mind works, how people operate, why we operate in a certain way. So I've been studying human beings and human behavior for quite a long time, right? Now, obviously, I tap into it more from a spiritual perspective, right? So with psychology, I realized that there would be this 1% that will make that choice and that decision to come out of a bad environment or a negative environment. Now, everybody has the ability to. But if you grow in a home where there's a lot of, let's say there's domestic abuse, let's say there is an alcoholic parent, let's say there's any form of negativity that is there surrounding, it takes a 1% to actually, a 1% dealing with the form of mindset we are talking here now, right? It takes a 1% mindset to actually say, I am going to rise above that and I'm going to become something completely different. When I learned that, it blew my mind. Now, generally, if you grow up in a home where, you have love of your parents and kindness and respect and those things, it tends to be a lot easier for an individual to be able to now program their mind because you have less limiting beliefs.
Good. Please hold that thought.
Sure.
We've got to go to a quick break. I'm so consumed with all the information that he's sharing. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation with Pandit Dr. Balmesh Sunarayan. Stay with us.
Peas, Nature's Pride saves you money.
1 pack of Pepe's Nature's Pride peas or beans gives you the same amount as 3.5 cans of peas or beans. You get so much more value and nutrition for so much less money when you use Pepe's Nature's Pride.
When it comes to peas and a wide range of beans, reach for the drive. Pepe's Nature's Pride.
Available nationwide.
Yes, people, you have been waiting with bated breath and you have been asking. The Future of Talk is back with yours truly, Heavy Duty, and my co-host,
TC, and we are live on Real TV from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Yes, you heard it, Real TV, right here. Yours truly, Heavy Duty and TC, the Future of Talk is back.
Yeah.
Right?
A pleasant good day to one and all. I am Pastor John Arjun, pastor and founder of Passion for His Presence Ministries. I am so happy and delighted that you could join me here on Real TV every Sunday morning at 7 for the inspirational program, Breakfast and Bible. I am so happy and delighted also to come into your homes, to come into your television sets on Sunday mornings at 7 for the program Breakfast and Bible on Real TV.
Hi, I'm Malika. Do you love stories? Me too! Come join me and my friends for story time with Malika and friends. We read cool stories about princesses, pirates, animals, and even silly monsters. Every story is fun and exciting. And guess what? Sometimes my friends help me to tell them. So grab your favorite toy and get ready to listen, laugh, and maybe even dance a little. Story time with Malika and friends, where every story is super special. Right here on Real TV. See you soon. Bye.
Hello, I am Astrid Morillo, Mrs. Congeniality, a bilingual Venezuelan living in Trinidad. I invite you to join me for an exciting new program, La Voz Latina, where we will highlight the achievements, challenges, businesses, and culture of the Latin community in Trinidad and Tobago, including the food, music, talents, immigration experiences, and more. Join me every Saturday and Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. for conversations that celebrate our voices, our stories, and our community. Coming soon to Real TV.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Are you waiting for more? You feel like you're not getting enough? Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. And to those of you on Real Radio, thanks again for choosing us in conversation today with Pandit Dr. Balmesh Siunarayan. And he's really talking to us about the power of the mind and how it can shape our lives, whether it's going to be positive or negative. Welcome back.
So let's talk about limiting beliefs, because I was mentioning that just now to you, right? And limiting beliefs, we need to really understand this because it's what keeps us from achieving all our goals, our dreams, and our desires. When I learned about this, my life started to shift to a different level completely because I started to apply the things that were needed. Of course, I'm going to share that with you guys a little bit today. You're going to get some key tips that you could use to now reprogram, right? So within the subconscious mind, you have what is called as your paradigm. Your paradigm is your mental program.
Right.
Now, that paradigm is built, like I said, based on all the experiences that you would have had growing up. Everything that would have come through your senses through a process of repetition. It programs that subconscious mind, right? Now, everything that is happening in your life right now is happening not based on your conscious mind, but it's actually happening as a projection of that program that is in your subconscious mind.
Okay.
So whatever is built in that program is what you would see every day, the type of people, it's the type of experiences that you will see, and it's the type of experiences you will have. This is what the most successful people on the planet understand, and that's why they become who they are. I've spent some time, I've been privileged enough to actually get into this circle and be mentored by some of these individuals, and these are the things that they practice every single day. They are very intentional about it. They don't do things by chance at all. Because any thought or behavior that is repeated, eventually it becomes part of that program. And I will tell you the science behind it, and you can, everything that I share with you, you can verify it, you can research it, and you can confirm, right? So when it comes to limiting beliefs, when you're telling yourself things like, I have conversations with people and they're like, I can't achieve this, and the moment you tell them do something, they say it without even realizing that they're saying it. But the words a lot of times are coming from this program. It's not coming because I'm thinking, okay, I am going to do this. It's because I have already been programmed that I can't be more, I can't do more, I cannot achieve success, I can only earn this amount per month, I can only be this individual, I can't be bigger or better than that, I can only get education up to this level. And literally, just today I was having this conversation with my wife. We were talking about breaking these barriers, right, and how I keep doing it. And literally, I'm seeing my manifestations coming to pass just as I've laid them out because I'm breaking these barriers and I never place limitations on myself. I never say, this can't work. For example, let's say I start a business. I will never say, it's only meant for Trinidad and Tobago. And that's the concept I was using because I was like, there's something that we're doing right now and we only had it available for Trinidad. And then I'm like, how is this going to work externally? So successful people don't say, right, I can't do this, but rather they say, how can I make it work? So what I said is, how can I make this work? And all of a sudden, the universe now starts to conspire to bring the opportunities to make this possible.
Panditji, that is why it is extremely important that parents be careful about what you say to your children and how you do it. Teachers, be very careful what you say and how you say things to the children because it matters.
There are a lot of teachers that I actually coach and they pass on this information to their students as well. You know, I speak at a lot of schools as well.
Brilliant.
And I love that because I love when I get to connect and share that knowledge now because when you can get that knowledge, this information early in your life, then all of a sudden now you can literally bring a change and you can bring a shift to your whole life.
And you are definitely living and doing that. You don't hold your secrets. You share it rather. You give it. You give it. It's a gift that you give that you've earned. You've worked towards reaching where you have and you're still climbing and as you grow from strength to strength. But what I love is that a lot of people withhold this for themselves, but you share it and that is beautiful. Perhaps that's why I continue to follow your pages or to listen to your messages.
And continue to invite me on the show, that's why.
Well, you're going to have your own show.
Definitely. So, with that being said, now I want to get into, because I know our time is limited, and again, I don't want to place that limit here because our time is unlimited, right? We can find a way around that. But in reality, this experience that we are having is finite, right? In the sense of now what we are doing here in this human form, this experience is limited. We will move on to another experience. And you don't really know when that time is coming. So I believe in literally taking today and making the most of it. Make the most of the opportunity that is in front of us, you know? So I want to make sure I give you this information, because normally we go through so much information on these sessions, and sometimes we can't get to the point of what I really want to share with you sometimes, right? But, you know, God has a way of translating what you need.
Correct.
So, with that being said, I spoke about the limiting beliefs, and you want to remove these limiting beliefs, because there's a saying that I have where I say, what you tune into, you turn into.
What you tune into, you turn into. Nice, I like that.
Whatever you tune into. So, we are talking about now, you need to go through what is called as a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift means your paradigm is the mental program. When you shift this paradigm, meaning you're altering it through new thoughts, new words, new beliefs, new experiences, new environments, right? Because remember I said, whatever your senses are interacting with, your eyes, your ears, whatever you're speaking, whatever you're touching every day, whatever you're smelling, all of these things are reprogramming your subconscious mind. So if you constantly stay in the same environment, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to start putting your foot into newer environments. You have to start talking to people who are where you want to be in your life. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You earn in the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you look at your income, everybody can see that for themselves. It will be within the average of the 5 people you talk to the most. That is so important. Because of thoughts, words, behaviors, energies, all of these things that are surrounding you, right? So, to shift this paradigm now, to be able to have the life you want, to be able to have the experiences that you want, you have to talk to new people. Never be afraid of that. Find people who are where you want in life. I will tell the people around me or the people that follow me all the time, find 5 people who are the most successful in your field on social media. You don't even have to know them. And go and follow them. Tune out of all the negative things. Move out of all the things that does not serve you or is not in alignment with where you want to be in life.
Oh, so that's why I keep following you on Facebook.
Yes. Good point, good point. So tune into that, because the more that you tune into that, you will turn into that. So I want to explain the science behind it very quickly, so that you can understand how this is really working from the standpoint of your brain. Because some people might say, mind, oh, this sounds far-fetched, and this sounds like some heebie-jeebie, you know, manifestation thing, you know. And a lot of religious people, quote-unquote, will be very against that because of limited thinking, because of programming again, right?
Correct.
So that's why I always say I'm more spiritual than religious, right? Because, you know, I can brush my teeth religiously, I can take a bath religiously, I can eat, I eat very religiously, by the way. You know, it's just practicing things in a particular way. But it doesn't mean because I'm going to the temple or the church or the masjid every week that I'm changing my life. You could be going for an experience, but unless you really apply the information, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Right?
Correct
So,
is right.
with that being said, coming to this altering the paradigm, I want to show you the science of the brain. There's something in your brain, Zelisa, that's called the reticular activating system. It's the RAS, right? We call it. The reticular activating system, it's a filter. And it's an actual part of your brain, right? This filter, how it works is any information, any image that you constantly see or sound that you constantly hear, again, these senses. Anything that your senses continuously interact with, that reticular activating system filters it out, saying that this information is important to you.
Okay.
Now what it does, and I'll give you an example and you'll see how it works, right? Now what it does, for example, this is not saying this information is good for Zelisa, so I'm only going to give Zelisa, I'm going to feed this into her program.
Okay.
It's not saying that this is bad, I will not give this to Zelisa. It's never saying that. Neither is your mind. Your mind is not going to separate positive and negative for you. No, everything is vibration.
Right.
And all vibration has positive and negative to be in balance, right? So it simply programs your subconscious mind, the paradigm, it shifts it, and builds that paradigm based on what you feed it more of, whether it's positive or negative. So it works for both of them. This is why it's so important to be intentional, because if you're not, then every single day you are feeding this RAS with the things, the experiences that you do not want to show up in your life. Because you're listening to the negative people talk to you every day, you're tuning into toxicity, toxic environments, you are looking at images or engaging and watching videos that is not in alignment with where you want to be. And then when your life turns out a particular way, you're like, I wonder why. I wonder, what is it? I wonder where they do.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm the black sheep, and it's this one and that
Right?
one, and this one do me and that one. And you're not taking accountability.
Exactly. And that accountability is so important. So with the RAS now, I'm giving you a rough example so you'll see how it actually works.
Well, I want you to hold that thought quickly.
Okay.
Quickly.
So,
let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
time to just...
Step into the colors and flavors of India at the India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence, Mokoya. Experience the magic of one of the largest Ganesha Murtis in the Caribbean with daily arati at 1 and 7 p.m. Dive into our Indian food festival featuring a delicious variety from crispy dosa to mouth-watering tandoori specialties. Plus, explore vibrant Indian clothing, elegant outfits for the entire family, perfect for every occasion. Open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for a joyful celebration of culture, cuisine and tradition. India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. See you there.
Hello everyone, I am Terrence Brown and I'm bringing you a new program called Victorious Lifestyle on Real TV. This program is about dealing with all the problems that we may have through demon possession, family conflict. If you're in need of counseling, if you are confused and anxiety is stepping in about what is happening in the world today, we are dealing with Bible prophecy. This is a program of hope, a program of power, a program of peace. It is Victorious Lifestyle, every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. God bless you.
Looking for music that moves your heart and captivates your soul? Real Radio sets the mood, where sound becomes emotion and every moment pulses with real rhythm. From the hits you love to the voices that speak truth. It's real facts, real talk, real music. Listen live at realtv.radiostream321.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my supreme and extraordinary pleasure to invite you to join us on Real TV every Wednesday at 2 p.m. for this special, spectacular program called Inspired. We will bring hope to the hopeless, joy to the sorrowful. We will bring satisfaction to those who are depressed and anxious. You just can't afford to miss it. And you have to tell your family members, your friends, and your enemies that every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Real TV, we have real inspiration. The title of the program is Inspired. See you there.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa. I'm in conversation with Pandit Dr. Balmesh Sunarayan. He's a spiritual coach, and he's here to guide us and share his wealth of knowledge. And I always say knowledge is power. When we fill ourselves with knowledge, then we do make better choices for better tomorrows. Welcome back, Panditji.
So I'll add to that, as you said, knowledge is power there. And one of the things that I learned, is applied knowledge is power.
Applied
Because
knowledge.
if we
Now he
get the
takes it to a
knowledge-
different level, which
Correct.
is so true. You have the knowledge, but if you don't apply it, it's
Makes no
powerless.
sense.
You're
When
correct.
you apply the knowledge becomes wisdom because it now brings an experience. When you have the experience, that's how wisdom comes.
Correct.
That's why I always say age does not bring wisdom, but experience does. There are many people that are old, but they are not wise. And why is that? Because of the fact that unless you have the experience or the experiences, the wisdom won't come. So that's why the faster you test things, the faster you apply information, the knowledge you're receiving is the faster you learn. And that's what I've been doing for many, many years.
Yeah.
That's why I would have learned a lot of things and I would have been able to understand how to actually use this now to shape someone's life.
When you see, and I don't want to use the word clients, when you see people come to you that are hurting, that are seeking knowledge and answers, and they need to get back to the right path to help them to be whole again. Because most people come to you because they're broken, they're hurting, something is wrong in their life,
Correct.
and they're looking for guidance. But when you see those people apply what you teach them, as you've just said to us, and they are then in control of taking that situation and turning it around, and you see that smile, or you see them whole again, what does it do? How do you feel knowing that you were I would say, the essence?
I would say the catalyst.
Yeah.
Or the catalyst, the
That
one that
made
makes
that-
the connection.
That made that difference in their life.
The real thing that I always say when it comes to that, it warms my heart. It comes down to that. It warms my heart. That's literally all that I get from it, and that's all that I want.
Yeah.
I love to see people win, Zelisa. I love to see people win, literally, every single day. Anybody around me, I tell them, I do not want followers. I did not start social media, contrary to popular belief. I don't do social media. The energy, the time, and effort I put in, if people really know and understand this, that's not something that can be paid for in no way possible, right?
Correct, because it's uplifting all the time. You always learn from, yeah.
I'm sometimes recording videos at 12 a.m. after I've worked for an entire day. Why? You know?
Even the Hindi words.
The
I
Sanskrit.
have Malika, yes,
Yeah.
yes, the Sanskrit. I have
Yeah.
Malika now, going through and trying to, yeah.
It's just because I'm trying to share everything that I learn, I want to share it because the knowledge is universal. It doesn't belong to me. And I'm going to leave one day, but I want to make sure that it's accessible to as many people as possible.
And you made
know?
a difference.
So yeah, with that, I always tell the people around me, I don't want followers, but rather I want to create leaders. So every single day, when I help someone and I impact someone, I'm creating a leader in a certain field.
Yeah.
So if I talk to someone that is in baking, I'm creating a leader in that field. If I talk to a doctor, leader in that field, teacher, and so on. You know what I mean?
Very nice.
So that's the vision. Now, I do want to come back to you talking about the reticular activating
Yes,
system.
before we wrap up.
Correct. I don't want to miss that, right?
Sure.
Because, time is of the essence. So when it comes to the reticular activating system, I want to give you a quick example that I'm sure everybody who's watching can relate with as well. You ever wanted to buy a car before or a vehicle and you were not thinking about it before, but all of a sudden when you started to think about this vehicle, you started to probably look at vehicles, all of a sudden you're driving on the road and you're seeing these vehicles everywhere. That ever happened before?
Yes, yes,
And
and
then
it's
you're
one of those I want. Yes,
And
yes.
then you're like, what? Like all the time I was not seeing those vehicles, but all of a sudden now
That is
I've
very
decided
true.
that I want this vehicle, all of a sudden it's showing up around me now, right?
I've had that experience.
So that's your reticular activating system working. So your reticular activating system, because you started to tune into that specific thing, it started to filter that out. This is so mind-blowing if I tell you, Zelisa. This is so mind-blowing that once you start thinking about this enough and you put the pictures in front of you, you're watching it or you're going in the dealership, you're experiencing the vehicle, all of a sudden, your brain is saying that this information is important to Zelisa. It's important to whoever is watching here as well too. And all of a sudden, you're going to see more of those experiences. So it comes back to us tuning into what we want to show up in our future. If you are in lack every single day and that's what you're tuning into, that's what is going to show up in your future. If you are in some sort of abuse or difficulty, and now I'm not saying it's easier, I understand and I sympathize with these situations, but if you are in all of these different types of negative situations every single day and you keep tuning into these things, then automatically you keep putting yourself into an environment that you don't want. Psychology shows us, just like we could have the 1% of the person that will come out of this, it shows that most people, For example, like a daughter that grows up in a home with an abusive father, or again, one who's an alcoholic, for example, they come out the same exact way. They may not consume, but they may end up marrying somebody just like their father and then wonder, but I never wanted this in my life. But I'm having the same exact experience that matches the reality of what I would have grown up in. And I see this pattern over and over and over. And when I learned that, it blew my mind. So I'm sharing tips with you guys because we have, again, a little time. I want you to start doing, and this is what I did. When I started to learn this information, I started to change my environment. So my room, what I started to do, the mind needs instructions. The mind needs instructions. Words, images, audio. 3 main things, but the other senses as well. The things that you smell as well is important. So what you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, every single day. I started to shift my environment. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have access to a lot of things, but I used what I had. I would have written things on paper and started sticking it up on the walls because that's what I was told, right? I'm now creating what is called as a vision environment, not a vision board, a vision environment. I'm changing my environment to be the future of what I want to, my future, or what I want to experience in the future.
Yeah.
So what happened is I started to write things into existence. So if I wanted to achieve a certain amount of income, if I wanted to travel the world, I would start putting up pictures, and I still have them till this day. I still do this on my desk. And I know people that I'm talking about that are worth millions of dollars. I know people that are at a high level in life that have been mentored by, they do this as well. Yeah. So literally, if you do it too, I always say, if somebody is doing this and they have the results, get rid of your ego. If they're doing it and they have the results, follow it. Success leaves clues. If you do what they are doing at some level, obviously you have to take the good, leave the bad, of course, right, if that is there.
Yeah.
But if you do what they do, you are going to get results. It doesn't have to be the same field. But if you apply the principles,
I agree.
it is going to work. So, words, put up words in the environment. If you walk into my home from the entrance, you say, walk by faith, not by sight. As soon as you walk in the door, in my office area, I'm a peaceful, joyful, divine being having a human experience. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Now you will understand why my life is being shaped exactly in accordance with that. Because every day my mind is being programmed with what? With that. It's not being programmed with the negative that people say. It's not being programmed with negative situations because I keep instructing the mind.
Yeah.
I have pictures in front of me every day of the places I want to travel to on my phone, on my laptop. It's everywhere in front of me. I do not have anything that I do not want to show up in my future in front of me.
Beautiful.
My clothing, I'm very intentional. My clothes that I wear, I'm very intentional. I only wear things or use things that would smell a particular way, that would look a particular way, all of those things, because I know, again, my mentors would have taught this to me. Get rid of the clothing that is tattered. You know, it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to have a lot of money, but buy a t-shirt that is fitting you well. Buy a t-shirt that is neat. Wash your clothing and keep it clean. All of these things, the energy that carries with it, all of that is important. Make sure your environment is not clustered. Vastu, you know. Make sure your environment is not clustered. Declutter it. You have to clean the environment. You know, make your bed. Make sure that things look in a particular way. Make sure your wares rack is clean and looking a certain way. All these little things. You know, long ago we hold on to the enamel cup. The older people at the enamel cup get dying away.
You are so correct with everything that you are saying to us. You're speaking to us today to take control and make the changes, and we'll see the path being clearer.
Correct.
If only we do what is right.
Because everything is there for us to experience, Zelisa.
Exactly.
Everything is there for us to experience.
Your closing comments.
So today, I simply want to say, become very intentional about everything that you do. But there are 3 things very quickly I share with you, that if you are very intentional about these 3 things, what it's going to do, it is going to change your life. And try it, right? Even though I don't use the word try, do it rather, I would say. I always change my words to positive things. Do it for at least 21 days consistently, because it takes 21 days to condition your mind, and I guarantee you're going to see a shift. If your life is in a bad situation, do it for at least 90 days to solidify it as a habit, right? What you're going to do is you're being intentional about 3 things. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're speaking and whatever you're doing. Every single day, make sure that those three things are in alignment with the future that you want to have with yourself. And I guarantee you, there's no two ways about it. You will see shifts happening because your paradigm will alter, your mental program, and by extension, it will alter the experiences that show up in your life.
Oh, what a wonderful lesson today, and I trust and hope that we all take control, more importantly, apply the knowledge to our lives as we were taught today. I thank you kindly. Continue to be the light that you are, the blessing that you are in so many lives, helping people to find themselves, transform their lives, and be able to live their dreams, make it a reality. God bless you. I also want to remind you, coming very soon, you'll start seeing his promo, we're going to have chai with Panditji. Yes? So I want to remind you that with God all things are possible. Thank you so much for choosing us here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. Keep smiling, be positive, always know the best is yet to come. Thanks for choosing us. Have a great day. Be safe. See you tomorrow. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani.